Have you ever asked a Chinese person a simple question like, do you want to do something this weekend? And instead of getting a straight answer, you hear something like, maybe later. Let me check. I'll get back to you. At that point, you are left thinking, so is that a yes or no? Well, here in China, people don't really say no directly. And it's not because they're being dishonest. It's actually a really deep part of our culture. Let me explain why that happens and what it reveals about the way Chinese people communicate. In China, relationships are everything. From a young age, we are taught that how we make others feel is just as important as what we say. Directly rejecting someone can feel like rejecting them personally. Let's say your colleague asks for your help. If you say, no, I don't want to, it's not just about the task. It's about how they feel. Instead, you might say, I'll check if I have time. Maybe another time. Or simply, I'm not sure. Let me think about it. This phrase aren't lies. They are a way of saying no without causing offense. It's about protecting relationships. In the West, directness is encouraged. In China, harmony is always the top priority. Now let's talk about another key part of Chinese communication, face. Imagine you're in a meeting and your Chinese colleagues say, actually, I think this idea might not work well. You might think they're offering helpful feedback. But in China, this could be a very polite way of saying no without actually saying it. In Chinese culture, face isn't about pride. It's about maintaining respect and avoiding embarrassment. If someone says something that could make you look bad, where you are the speaker or the listener, both parties lose face. So instead of directly saying no, Chinese people use softer phrases like, I'm not sure that will work. We might need to rethink this. Maybe we should try something else. In the West, directness is valued, but in China, avoiding shame is more important. It's about keeping the group in harmony. Let's think about a real-world situation. Imagine you are a Westerner manager, and you ask your Chinese team, can you finish this by Friday? You expect a direct answer, yes or no. But instead, the response is something like, well, I'll try my best. Now, as a Westerner, you might think, okay, they're trying to get it done. But here's the thing. When a Chinese person says, I'll try my best, they are actually trying to be polite. They are not promising to get it done by Friday. But they also don't want to disappoint you. In this scenario, it's all about avoiding a hard rejection and keep harmony in the relationship. Here's another example. Let's say you are hanging out with a Chinese friend and you invite them to dinner for next weekend. They say, I'll let you know. You think, okay, cool. They'll confirm later. But what they really mean is, probably not. They don't want to say no directly, so they leave it open-ended. It's a way of keeping things polite without hurting feelings. Even when a Chinese person say, maybe, it often really means, I don't want to, but I don't want to disappoint you either. Now, you might thinking, why don't they just be more direct? Why all the beatings around bush? Well, the truth is, it's a survival tactic in a densely populated country like China. There are over 1.4 billion people here, and social harmony is essential for keeping things running smoothly. If you are always direct, If you are always saying no, you create tensions, and the tensions can lead to problems. So instead of rocking the boat, people try to soften things. To keep the peace, it's not about being fake. It's about keeping life easy and smooth. But here's where it gets interesting. The younger generation in China is starting to break away from this tradition. They're becoming more direct, more influenced by Western communication styles. In the workplace, especially in big cities, you might hear more people saying things like, I don't agree with this, or I think we should do it differently. But even then, there's still a lot of switching between styles. Young people may say direct with their colleague or on social media, but when they talk to older family members, they go back to softening their words. It's cultural shift, but it's happening slowly. So why do Chinese people rarely say no? It's not because we're being dishonest or passive aggressive. It's because relationships, faith, and the desire for harmony. And if you are a Westerner living or working in China, the knowledge can save you from a lot of misunderstanding. When a Chinese person say maybe or I'll think about it, now you will know. It might actually be a polite way of saying no without causing offense. If you are interested in learning more about Chinese culture, life, and how things really work here, make sure to subscribe my channel and drop comments. Thank you for watching. See you in the next video.